Greetings, Ian from RTO here, and welcome to the first new album review of 2023. And we're going to have a look at a new album that came out last Friday by the one and only legendary Iggy Pop, called Every Loser. Now this is the 19th solo album by Iggy Pop, produced by American producer Andrew Watt, and the album features guest appearances of various people including Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses and Chad Smith of the Chili Peppers. There are different people that pop up on the track, so I'll tell you who plays on what. So the first track on here is called Frenzy. So your backing vocals are Andrew Watt, bass is Duff McKagan, drums are Chad Smith, and of course Iggy Pop does the singing. This starts off with a great bass line from Duff. Oh, it's really good. Chad Smith's drumming, well, it's brilliant. There's a great vocal from Iggy, and considering his age now, he's into his 70s. Okay, it's a lot deeper than it was on his earlier stuff, but it's really, really good. I quite like that track. Second track is called Strung Out Johnny. On here, on backing vocals, bass and guitars and keyboards, Andrew Watt. Drums and percussion, Chad Smith again. Guitar and pianos is Josh Klinghoffer, ex Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the vocals again from Iggy Pop. Another belting bass line. This is from Andrew Watt this time. Some great work from Josh Klinghoffer on the guitars. Liked his guitar work in the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's nice to see Chad and Josh working together again. Great drumming from Chad as ever. Absolutely belter of a drummer. And Iggy sounds great on this. It's just good old-fashioned sort of post-punky modern rock. That's the only way to describe it. It is a great track. Then we get another track called New Atlantis. On here it's the same people on the last track, but Duff plays the bass on this. So it's Duff, Chad, Josh and Andrew Watt on keyboards and guitar with Iggy. This isn't too bad, but I think because of Iggy's voice has changed, he can't do these gentler tracks now. He's got such a deep, gruffly voice. I don't think it sounds rock, so I'm not really keen on the vocal on this. The song's good, but I don't think it's a really good vocal delivery from Iggy Pop, because his voice has changed, and I admire him for doing it, but it just doesn't sound right. Then we get modern day Ripoff. Got bass, Duff, Chad on the drums, guitar and piano Andrew Watt, and of course Iggy Pop singing. Love this. This is my favourite track on this album. Oh, I like that real rocky piano from Andrew Watt. Iggy sounds great on this. It's just good old-fashioned rock. Great vocal, really uplifting, heavy track. Like that a lot. Then we get a track called Morning Show. This is Andrew, Chad, Josh and Iggy. Love this song. I like the gentlenesses, but on this, Iggy sounds like Till Lindemann from Rammstein. The other slower track, it didn't work, but this one works. It does remind me, you think it's Till Lindemann, but he sings in German and Iggy sings in English, but it's in that vein, and I really like this song. A really strong song. And then we got the news for Andy, which is interlude, bit of tongue-in-cheek this one. Andrew Watt, Chad Smith, pianos Josh Klinghoffer, vocals Iggy Pop. That's a very tongue-in-cheek thing, very deep voice from Iggy. It sounds pretty good. I quite like that. Then we get a track called Neon Punk. On here is bass and pianos Josh, another drummer Travis Barker, guitars Andrew Watt, and vocals Iggy Pop. I love this. Second favourite track on the album. It's just pure punk here, done modernly. Great drumming here from Travis Barker. Absolutely stunning track. Didn't think that he could still sing the punk era stuff, but boy can he, it's great. Then we get a track called All the Way Down. Got a few other extras on here. Chad Smith's back on the drums, guitar is Stone Gossard, Josh Klinghoffer's on the keyboards. Another great little rocker. Basically it's just a good old fashioned rock, Iggy Pop style. You know, it sounds great. It's going back to the good old days like Lust for Life and all that sort of thing. Brilliant little track. Then we get a track called Comments, which is backing vocals Andrew Watt. Bass is done by Eric Avery, ex-Jane's Addition of course. And drums, percussion and piano by the late Taylor Hawkins. Guitar, Josh Klinghoffer, and synthesizers and vocals, of course, Iggy Pop. The bass line from Eric Avery is absolutely brilliant. Great bass player. The drumming from Taylor Hawkins is so good on this. It's sad it was just so sad to hear him playing on this, but I'm glad he's there. Great vocal from Iggy, solid track. Then we got My Animus, which is another interlude sort of thing. So this is Josh, Iggy and Andrew. Normally out this is called... It could be a bit dull, but I don't know about Iggy's vocal on it. It's deep and growly, and it works. Then we get the Regency. On here we've got Andrew Watt doing keyboards and piano. Chris Chaney, Jane's Addiction, doing the bass. Drums, Taylor Hawkins. Guitar, again from Jane's Addiction, Mr. Dave Navarro and Iggy Pop. Another great track with some great musicians on here. Love this one. It's proper rock and it's a good way to end the album. Okay, this is Iggy's first album since 2019. I can't believe this guy is 75 years old and he is still rocking. This is a better album than the 2019. Really strong. Lots of great musicians on here, from the late Taylor Hawkins, Dave Navarro, Chad Smith. Fine musicians. I was alright a bit oh, how good is it going to be? You know, knowing that his age totally blew me away. It's a good album. I've listened to it two or three times. I think I've done enough to convince Lee to go and buy it. I think this is a solid album, and I think it will be a contender for the top 20 at the end of the year already. Although there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10 because I think it's a damn good solid rock album with some great playing and some great vocal from Iggy. 75 years old, I can't believe it, and he still rocks. Okay, that's all for today, but tomorrow it's the return of the dynamic duo, or as one of I think it was Mick last night, or someone, no, it was Rob Walker said Dastardly and Muttley. Thanks, Rob. Back tomorrow for our first collaboration of 2023, and we're going to look at our favourite #1 albums from the 1970s. So look out for that. But But we'll be back on Monday, of course, with normal programmes, and we will be starting with part 1 of the John Mitchell story, guitarist extraordinaire in more bands than I've had at dinners. I don't know how many he's in at the moment. A viewer's request. So this story, we've got about 6 or 7 parts, and we're going to start with the Urbane, a couple of albums to kick us off, and then we've got a really good classic album from Mr. Frank Zappa, one of the jazzy albums at the beginning of his career, called Hot Rats. So lots coming up in the next few days. So I'll see you all soon. Have a good day, everybody.